Oh, fine. I can actually see the mic working. That's good. Wait, let me do this. There we go. No, that's not what I wanted to do. Oh, man. It's going to be one of those ones. Oh my god. What? Oh, okay. That's not what I wanted to do. Let's get into this, man. Just so lost for words, man. Just, boy, I don't even know I don't know what to say. Don't know how to feel. It's been one of those things, man. All right. Why are you wearing a commies hat? I thought you were a Ravens fan. I have explained on this channel many times as to my relationship with both the Ravens and Commanders and how that came to be. I'm actually very heated right now, so I'm not gonna get into this aspect. I've explained my backstory as a sports fan and how it came to be. If anybody in the chat remembers what I talked about, feel free to share it. I'm actually like pissed off right now, a little peeved. So I'm not going to explain it right now. I guess maybe at the end of the stream I may come back and answer the question, but I've uh I've already expressed my backstory involving both the Ravens and the Commanders. So I'm not gonna speak on that here because I actually have some things to say. But what's going on, everybody? Hope you guys are enjoying your day. It's been a crazy Sunday. The 1 p.m. game shocked the hell out of everybody. I kid you not. When I opened up the schedule this morning and saw the matchups, I didn't expect anything good to come out of these games. It didn't seem like the matchups were really, really eye popping compared to last week. But that's the fun part about football. You may think that you know how you may think you know how the games are gonna go or how it's gonna look, but then you come out and you see games that surprise you. I think for a majority of it, the 4 p.m. games were supposed to be the interesting games. They didn't live up to the hype. Whereas the 1 p.m. games, the games that weren't supposed to be great, lived up to the hype. The Vikings and Bears, they went to overtime and things got crazy there. The Panthers took the Chiefs down to the wire. The Titans upset the Texans. It's just games that you didn't expect to be crazy ended up being crazy. And that's the interesting part of it. So we actually did have a crazy set of games. crazy set of 1 p.m. games. The 4:25 games, well, the 4 p.m. games in general did not live up to the hype, but the 1 p.m. games that there wasn't a lot of expectations for, yeah, they got crazy, man. They got really crazy. And the craziest game of all of them is the game we're about to talk about right now. Oh, man. This game, where do I even begin with this game, man? So, my day started out with me doing whatever I had to do early in the morning as we're getting ready for these fans to come in. Everything was pretty much smooth sailing until about like 11:30 when fans were able to just be able to roam around the stadium and stuff. I pretty much spent 90 minutes doing what I have to do, but every time I would have to interact with the crowd, just a bunch of Cowboys fans being loud and ignorant, and they were talking trash early on, which is to be expected because Cowboy fans are going to run their mouths whether the team's good or bad. That's just how it is. And despite that, I felt very confident as game time was approaching. I felt very confident that this team would be able to handle business. Everything was, very positive. Things were happening. I actually saw Jay-Z today. I was busy doing whatever I had to do, and I was in the hallway. Just walking towards the elevator, and as I'm getting closer towards the elevator, there's like a corner because there's like this open area where the media room is, which I can't speak too much about. There's this open area where the media room is, and I'm going this way because the elevator is this direction. And as I'm walking this way, Jay-Z and his crew, they turn the corner and they start coming down. So I'm doing like a triple check. I'm like, is that Jay-Z? I'm like not trying to overly look there because, I'm just trying to get to do what I gotta do. But I'm like, is that Jay-Z? And it was him. So, that was crazy for me. Seeing something like that made me think today was gonna be a good thing. I saw Jay-Z. I was thinking everything was cool. RG3 was upstairs. Everyone was hype. I was thinking it was going to be a good day. They were honoring RG3 today. I just felt this would be a time for the Commanders to just come out here and get a win. You lost to the Steelers, and then you played Thursday Night Football against the Eagles, got smacked. I thought this would be a great game for the Commanders to bounce back. Beat up on a Cowboys team that has Cooper Rush as a starting quarterback. They're not a good football team. We know they stink. This is an opportunity to showcase that, hey, we're not quite there in terms of Super Bowl contending team, but in terms of a team that's going to be a playoff team and could potentially make some noise, this is an opportunity to showcase what we could do. Even if it's a lower team, you still want to go out there and dominate a lower team. And I felt the Commanders were capable of doing that. So the game happens, and I'm confident that they're going to win this. I'm confident that they're going to come out and do what they can do. The first half of this game, man, pissed me off. I'm so disappointed. When things are going well, people will ignore the issues because you're winning. Who cares about the issues? You're winning. But once you start losing, that's when people start to pay attention. They start being very observant, and now they start to get angry at those things, and now they want to spaz out. There was some issues with the Commanders offensively in some cases. When things were going well, they only had they went 2 or 3 straight games without punting the football. When things were going well, nobody wanted to talk about some inconsistencies here and there. Even when they were winning games where they weren't looking the best, nobody wanted to talk about some of the issues we were seeing with Cliff Kingsbury's play calling. Nobody wanted to bring that up. But all of a sudden you start losing, now we want to start to expand on that play calling decision that we're seeing from Cliff Kingsbury, because last few games I don't think the play calling's been as strong as it needs to be, and today the play calling was just so bad. The play calling was bad and the execution was worse. The first half was a complete embarrassment offensively. In fact, pretty much for a majority of the game, the offensive play calling was bad and the execution was even worse. The first half was so annoying and pissed everybody off because the defense was playing out of their mind. I'm watching this defense. I'm thinking to myself, is this the Commanders' defense or the Pittsburgh's defense? I mean, they blocked a field goal. When is the last time the Washington Commanders have blocked a field goal? They blocked a field goal. They made multiple stuffs on 3rd and 1 to force punts. They legitimately forced a fumble. I mean, I don't know what else the Commanders' defense could have done. They should have given up 0 points. But St. Juice is one of the worst. It's not even his fault we lost today, so I'm not even. St. Jude's one of the worst corners in the National Football League. I don't know how you let that completion happen before halftime to put them in the field goal range, but he stinks. We know he stinks. We're just waiting for Marshawn Lattimore. So other than, St. Jude's being himself, he just stinks. The defense was out there destroying worlds. The Cowboys were making mistakes on their own, but Cooper Rush really wasn't having much time to do anything. Defense was making stops. They were getting there and just stuffing the run. They couldn't run the ball. They were doing everything right. And what made it frustrating, what pissed me and many other people off, was the fact that the defense was playing so well in the first half, and the offense never capitalized on it. I'm pretty sure for a majority of the drives the Commanders' offense had in the first half, they were in great field position. They were right near midfield and couldn't capitalize on it, even when the turnover happened. They forced a fumble, couldn't capitalize on it. They blocked a field goal, couldn't really capitalize on it. They couldn't do anything right. Offensively, they blew it. They blew it. It should have never been a 3-3 game heading into halftime. The Commanders should have been able to put up more points on the board, but because they couldn't do anything, they couldn't move the ball. They're at midfield and they would get stuff right there. Go 3 and out and have to punt the football back. You know how angry people were? The fact that this defense was out here destroying worlds, showing up, and then the offense decides we're not going to do anything. The offense literally decides we're just not going to do anything the entire first half. Defense is destroying world, getting a blocked field goal, holding them to field goals, not giving up a touchdown. Literally forcing 3 and outs, forcing punts, making stops on 3rd and 1. They were doing everything right defensively, and the offense responded with nothing. The offense responded with nothing. You can't win like that. But what made things worse is the second half, specifically the fourth quarter. Because in the second half, the Commanders were able to find the end zone. They took a lead. But that lead wouldn't be held on to for long. Eventually, you would start to see the Cowboys actually strike and take the lead. Now, coming out of the locker room, they scored a touchdown, but Seibert missed a field goal. And we're going to get on him at the end of this, man. This guy needs to be discussed. I don't know what happened with him today. And I have a bone to pick with him. And I low-key have a bone to pick with Dan Quinn. Because ultimately, I feel like the decision he made was an aspect that played into you literally losing this game. And if you don't do what you did, maybe you have a chance. So Seibert, he was just bad today. He missed a field goal. He missed 2 extra points. It's just... So yeah, you missed the extra point. It's a 9-3 game. Eventually, time continues to go. They're exchanging punts. Eventually, the Cowboys do take the lead, score a touchdown, kick the extra point. They make it. It's a 10-9 game. You're in the fourth quarter now, and things continue to get more and more concerning as the Washington offense continues to do nothing with the football. Meanwhile, the defense is still making stops. The defense was making stops for majority of the game, and the offense repaid them by being absolutely stagnant and garbage. Nobody could catch the football other than Terry McLaurin. And the sad part about it is Terry wasn't even involved until the end of the game. Like, they kept targeting. They tried to get it to De'Ami Brown. De'Ami Brown's doing nothing. Which, by the way, conversations may need to be had in Washington about De'Ami Brown. He was supposed to be the number 2 receiver, and he's done little to nothing all season. He's had maybe 1 or 2 moments. The only moment I can remember from De'Ami Brown was against the Browns. He has done little to nothing as a number 2 receiver. They keep trying to force it to Noah Brown, and it's just not working. They're taking deep shots with Noah Brown, and it's not working. They should be feeding Terry. The unfortunate part about this is you can't always feed Terry. Because nobody else is stepping up, defenses are just double-teaming Terry. So unless you're going to keep throwing it to double coverage and risk getting picked off, there's no way you can give Terry the ball every single time. So fourth quarter, that's when everything went hectic. The Commanders' defense held the Cowboys to 10 points of offense through 3 quarters. The team as a whole gave up 24. Now, I need to specify 14 of the 24 points were given up by special teams. Speaking of special teams, oh my God, special teams was garbage today. Special teams was garbage today. Cost them the game. Special teams literally cost them the game today, and nobody can deny that. Defense has its problems. Offense was terrible, but special teams deserves a round of applause for costing them this game. They were horrible. So we get into the fourth quarter. The Cowboys kick a field goal. It's 13-9. Commanders again have the ball, having a chance to try to go take the lead, and all of a sudden, all of a sudden a fumble happens because Jaden Daniels got picked off earlier on. He got picked off in the third quarter, I believe. Just not a good decision. He got picked off. I don't know if it was the third quarter or the first. He got picked off at some point early on. Just wasn't a good throw. But, fourth quarter, you're down by 4. What ends up happening? Fumble. You're down by 4. You're moving the ball. You're in Cowboys territory. Fumble. Fumble, fumble, fumble. Worst possible time. Cowboys get the ball back. At this point, the Commanders' defense had been slowing this team down for 3 quarters, and you could tell they were legitimately exhausted. I don't blame the defense for this performance at all. The defense was on the field the majority of the game. The defense literally was trying to hold on because this team just decided to not show up. The defense was tired by the fourth quarter, and nobody was helping. Nobody on the offense was helping these guys. So now it's a 13-9 game. The clock continues to wind down in the fourth quarter. We're getting to 5 minutes, and it's just like, if they don't make a stop, they're cooked. Third down, touchdown. Wide open. 20-9. Everyone in the stadium feels like the game's over. It feels like the game's over. We'll just have to see. Jaden Daniels and the offense come up, and finally, they actually put together a good drive. March down the field. Congratulations on getting yourself together, offense. It only took you, it only took you 50 minutes to get yourself together. 55 minutes to get yourself together offensively. So they march down the field. They score a touchdown. Goes to Zach Ertz. They go for 2. Jaden Daniels runs in 20-17. 3 minutes left. All you need to do is make a few stops, force the Cowboys to punt the football, you're good. This is where special teams cost them. And I'm telling you, it's a special teams special. The rest of this game, I don't give a damn. You can't say nothing about the Commanders' offense. You can't say nothing about the Commanders' defense. For these last 3 minutes of the game, there is no way you can sit back and blame the offense or the defense. Special teams sold this game so bad. The reason the Commanders lost, not because of the offense, though they do play a role, not because of the defense, though at the end of the day they did play some of the role. The reason the Commanders lost this game is because their special teams played like crap. 3 minutes left. 3-point game. They kick the ball off. Make the tackle, and we can get the defense out there to make a stop and potentially get the ball back to try to tie it or win the game. What does the defense do? Turpin, he muffs the punt. Turpin muffs the punt. The ball rolls to the 1. He turns around, grabs the punt ball. Then he spins and then takes off for a touchdown. He muffs the punt. He's like at the 8-yard line, muffs the punt. It rolls to the 1. He turns around. He grabs it. Defenders are coming towards him. He does one spin move, runs right up the middle, and takes it for a touchdown. Untouched. What is special teams doing? How do you let him score a touchdown in that situation untouched? Ridiculous. Embarrassing. Disgraceful. 27-17. Commanders. 3 minutes left. Down 10. They go down the field. Get into field goal range. They do something smart. They go down the field. They get into field goal range. They had 2 timeouts left, so they had to make a choice. They got into field goal range with about a minute 40 left. Jaden Daniels spikes the ball. They kick the field goal because they know it's a 2-possession game. You got to get the field goal. So they decide to take the field goal then they're going to kick the ball off and see if they can get the ball back. They kick the field goal. Field goal is good. Now it's 27-20. You need a touch. You need to stop defensively and a touchdown to tie it and send it to OT, potentially. The defense does their job. They make a stop. They get the ball back with like 35 seconds left. They're inside their own 20-yard line, I think right around the 14-yard line. Right around the 14-yard line. A miracle is needed in Washington. What ends up happening? Finally, they do what they should have been doing for much of the game. They target one of the best receivers in football, their best player. Jaden Daniels drops back, looks towards his right. Terry McLaurin streaking down the sideline. He gets it to Terry. Terry makes a couple moves, takes it the distance. 86-yard touchdown. We're all losing our minds. We're all going crazy. We're sitting back and saying, hey, man, they could pull off another miracle. We remember what happened with Chicago. Is this going to be another Maryland miracle? Can they pull this off here in Landover once again? They literally did. They did it again. They did it again. They pulled off the miracle. 86-yard touchdown. Jaden Daniels to Terry McLaurin. He goes untouched, runs into the end zone. 86-yard touchdown. We're losing our minds. I'm sitting here watching this and I'm saying go for two. I'm sitting here watching this and I'm saying go for two. Cybert's already missed the extra point and the field goal. I don't feel comfortable kicking the extra point and taking a chance in OT just because I don't even know if he's going to make the extra point. I was screaming, Dan Quinn, go for two. You've got to go for two here. Your kicker's already missed multiple kicks in this game. Do not take that risk in a high-pressure situation. Go for two. Go for two. You literally swung the momentum. You've got a kicker who's not kicking well today. He's already missed multiple kicks, and the momentum just swung. Your offense is red hot right now. You've got Jaden. You can come up with a play to get a two-point conversion. Go for the win. Do not take the extra point. Dan Quinn decides to get conservative. He takes the extra point attempt. Cyber lines up. And the whole sequence was awful. It was a bad snap. It was a bad hold. It was a bad kick. They missed the extra point, and the game's pretty much done there. Except the Cowboys are stupid. So the game's pretty much over. It's 27-26. We know it's basically over. You got to win an onside kick, which is damn near impossible with this team. Onside kick happens. The Cowboys recover it. Not only do the Cowboys recover it, the player takes it to the end zone to score a touchdown. Now, why he didn't get down so the game can be over is beyond me. That's just a dumb decision by him. He's got to be smarter than that. You get the possession of the onside kick, you just get down. I don't know why he didn't get down. If he would have got down, the game's automatically over. Instead, he chose to run into the end zone to score a touchdown, which now means the Commanders can get the ball, try to pull off a Hail Mary to try to set themselves up for a two-point conversion, try to win this game. Which they pretty much got set up for that situation. Commanders got the ball back, couple plays here. It came down to the last play of the game, a Hail Mary, which the Cowboys actually did a better job of playing it. They actually were able to get some pressure on Jaden. Jaden didn't really get to roll out the way he did against Chicago to really step into the throw and just launch it. So he threw it. It was underthrown, and it got tipped in the air and picked off. Cowboys win. Commanders lose. An embarrassing game against a team under 500. They've completely exposed themselves at this point. They've lost 3 straight games. From 7-2 to 7-5, they've lost 3 straight games. To make matters worse, 2 of the 3 losses are against divisional teams. So you lost to Pittsburgh last week. Then you lost to Pittsburgh 2 weeks ago. Then you went on Thursday Night Football and lost to the Eagles. And now a week later here on Sunday, you lost to the Cowboys. It's safe to say that the Commanders' divisional hopes are virtually done. They're not going to win the NFC East most likely. Philly would have to fold. Now, the Eagles right now, as I am live streaming, of course, the Eagles right now are playing against the Rams. I think Philly's going to beat the Rams anyway, so I expect the Eagles to go to 9-2. But if the Rams actually do beat the Eagles, you've got a shot at the division, but I don't trust it right now. You've lost 3 straight games, and the offense looks like it's deteriorating. There's some serious issues with the offense. But, yeah, Commanders lose 3 straight games. Things aren't looking so great, and that's kind of just the situation you're in. I just wish Dan Quinn would have gone for 2. I'm screaming. I'm like, Dan, go for 2, go for 2. They don't go for 2, man. And so, Cowboys ultimately win. You got drunk Cowboy fans dancing on tables, losing their mind. Cowboy fans are just walking out, just in the halls of the stadium, just walking around, trash talking and just singing about the Cowboys as if they just won the Super Bowl. Annoying Cowboy fans just, how about them Cowboys? How about them Cowboys? I'm just trying to go do my job. How about them Cowboys? One of my coworkers got pressed by some. He got pressed. He didn't do it, but he got pressed by one of these Cowboy fans that was on the phone with their friend, and apparently he wanted him to tell his friend how about them Cowboys. And of course, my coworker's like, I'm not gonna do that, and just gets back to work. But this guy literally tried to hand him his phone, and he was like, I'm not doing that. So yeah, Cowboys fans were just as obnoxious as you expected them to be, especially after winning that game. And that was annoying to deal with until I left there. So that was kind of just it. It's frustrating, man. 3 straight losses. The team was just riding high. Did they look like Super Bowl contenders? No. They've beaten up on bad teams and haven't beaten a legitimate top-tier team. But at least you felt they had a chance to potentially win the division, and they had an opportunity to prove themselves. Well, they had their chances to prove themselves, and they lost to Pittsburgh. They had another chance to prove themselves. They lost to Philadelphia, and now against the bad team, usually games they should be winning in the games they have been winning this year, they lose to a Cowboys team that's led by Cooper Rush. I don't know where you go from here. The Commanders are most likely not going to win the division, but the hopes for playoffs are still here. They're 7-5 now, so things are going to start getting. They're going to start getting a little bit crazy. But if you look at the standings, it's not the worst thing in the world, specifically because both the Niners and both the Niners and the Cardinals, they lost today. So you got just taking a look at some of these things here, just in the standings. Commanders is 7-5. They're gonna fight. The Seahawks are now tied with the Cardinals. Seahawks take first place now in the NFC West at 6-5. So that's gonna be a concern because the Cardinals and Seahawks are both 6-5. One of them are fighting for a wild card spot. And then the Minnesota Vikings are 9-2. The Packers are 8-3. So and then the Buccaneers are also 5-6. So here's the thing: because the NFC North is so overpowered, 3 teams from the NFC North this year are going to the playoffs. You've got a 9-2 Vikings team and an 8-3 Packers team. So it's safe to say the 2 wildcard spots is going to the Vikings and the Packers. That leaves 1 wildcard spot that is currently being held. The 7th seed is currently held by the Washington Commanders. They sit at 7-5. They've got the Seahawks, the Cardinals. The Seahawks, Cardinals, if the Rams win tonight, that's another team to worry about. Seahawks, Cardinals, potentially Bucks. They've got too many teams that are way close to them. And the Commanders have already lost to Tampa Bay. The Commanders have lost to Tampa Bay. So the Bucks have the tiebreaker. If Tampa Bay does not win the division and has a chance for a wild card spot, they can steal up in the Commanders because they have the tiebreaker. So things aren't all peachy. The Commanders could end up missing the playoffs if they aren't careful here. It's that type of situation. And it's unfortunate. It really is unfortunate. Just frustrating game, frustrating loss, frustrating results. Special teams sold. Offense sold in the first half. Defense sold down the stretch early in the fourth quarter. And then for like the last 3 minutes, the special teams completely sold. But the special teams was selling for much of the day because Cyber was missing kicks. So it is what it is. Now that this team is at 7-5, they have to have a reality check. I don't know when Marshawn Lattimore is going to be ready, but they desperately need him. Marshawn Lattimore is desperately needed. They desperately need this guy. Oh my God. If he's not good to go next week, I don't know what you do if you're the Commanders. Because this secondary, they're buns. This secondary is buns. They stink. They stink. Looking at the final 5 games for the Commanders, they have the Titans next week at home. So they're at home next week against the Titans. I'll be there for that, of course. So the Titans, the Saints, the Eagles, the Falcons, and the Cowboys to end off the season. And they'll be at Dallas for that last game. They have to win 3 of these last 5 games. They need to win 3 of these last 5 games to secure a playoff spot. 10-7 gets them in. Not to mention, they got a game against the Saints that could at least help out with some NFC type of tie-breaking situation, even though the Saints aren't going to make it. But the Saints and the Falcons games are very, very important. The Saints aren't going to make the playoffs. They're 4-7, but they could try to push. The Falcons are 6-5 right now. They're going to fight with the Bucs for the NFC South. So the Commanders have to beat the Saints and the Falcons. Those are 2 games they must win. If Washington keeps slipping like this, they're going to miss the playoffs because they're going to lose that 7th seed. The Vikings and the Packers are taking the 2 wild card spots. So the third one is going to go to either Washington, Tampa Bay, Atlanta, Seattle, or Arizona, depending on how things going to go. So they're on a 5-man race. They are on a 5-man race against these teams. So they need to be smart about how they're going to go about the rest of the season. Whatever issues they're having right now, they need to fix them. You cannot lose next week to Tennessee. You have to go on the road and beat the Saints. And then that game against the Eagles could literally make or break your season. The Falcons game is also another one you have to win. And that final game at Dallas could literally determine whether or not this is going to be a playoff team or if they're going to just come up short. So the Commanders have 5 games left. They have to win 3 of their last 5 games. They have to win 3 of the last 5 games to secure a playoff spot. Anything less than that, and they're going to miss the postseason. They're not going to make it at 9-8. They have to get there at 10-7. So yeah, that's pretty much it for me. I just wanted to rant about the Commanders, man. I just had to speak about the game. I was so frustrated watching it while I was there. I knew I was going to come home and speak on this. So that's it for me. It's a tough loss. They've lost 3 straight games, losing by 1 to the Steelers, then losing by 7 or 8 to the Eagles, in a situation that honestly the game was close until those final 2 drives when Saquon just said, I'm taking over and I'm going to score touchdowns. At that point the defense was tired. So you lost that game and then you lose by 1. Well, you don't lose by 1 here. You lose by 8 to the Cowboys. So it's so frustrating. So yeah, you lose by 1 to the Steelers, lose by 8 to the Eagles, lose by 8 to the Cowboys. It's so frustrating. It's so frustrating. It's so frustrating. It's so frustrating, but they're gonna have to get back on it and they're gonna have to figure things out. So it's up to them. With that being said, that's pretty much all I wanted to say today. Obviously, Ravens flock, we will be back tomorrow because we get to play our game Monday Night Football. So I'm hoping the Ravens can get a win because I don't want to have back-to-back depressing days. Please win the game tomorrow, Ravens. We'll be here for that. And yeah, before I head on out and let you guys enjoy the rest of your night, I'll take a look at some of these comments and then we can go. Not much really coming up here today because obviously I'll see you guys tomorrow though. But yeah, kicker choked on a big. Yeah, he choked, man. He choked so bad. He choked. It wasn't even just the kicker. The kicker, the holder, they all choked. It was a unison of choking. Commanders exposed as frauds. Ravens are also frauds. Ravens are who we thought they were. I don't think anyone looked with the way the Ravens have been. They are who we thought they were. So no one's surprised. I am not surprised. They are exactly who I thought they were. So saying they're frauds, I would disagree with that. They're what we thought they would be. So yeah, I mean, if you expected anything different from this, especially from a John Harbaugh-led team, I don't know what to tell you. What's going on, Corey? First thought Week 12 was going to be boring because of the matchups. 1 p.m. was crazy. It was. Why are we throwing deep ball at the start of the game? They wanted to take shots down the field. I'm not against it, but you have to try to establish the running game with Brian Robinson. I don't know why they didn't look to do so. I don't know why. Hey, bro, you should have known the Commanders would kind of fall off. They will still make the playoffs, but Cliff Kingsbury's collapses go cold second half of every season. He's a coach. Well, yeah, we know that. I expected them to cool off. I didn't think they'd be a top 3 seed or anything like that. But, man, to lose the way they've lost. It's never about losing. It's about how you lose. If you get beat, you get beat. Against the Eagles, they just got beat. At some point, Saquon broke free and put them to bed. They just got beat. But a game like this against the Cowboys, they shouldn't have lost that one. And we all know it. I missed the ending. What happened in the end? It was crazy, man. It's 24 points scored in the fourth quarter by the Cowboys, and 17 points was scored by the Commanders. It was a crazy fourth quarter. Um, yeah, it was just insanity. It was a crazy fourth quarter. The Cowboys went up by 10. They kicked a field goal to make it 13-9. Then they forced a turnover as Washington's marching down the field. Then they scored a touchdown to make it 29. Commanders respond by scoring a touchdown and going for two, making it 20-17. Then they get a kick return for a touchdown by Turpin to make it 27-17. Then the Commanders go down the field, get to field goal range, kick a field goal, make it 27-20. The defense makes a stop with under a minute left to go. They punt the football back to the Commanders. Jaden Daniels hits Terry McLaurin for an 86-yard touchdown. The extra points missed. Then the onside kick happens where the Cowboys recover and run it in for a touchdown. Then the Commanders get one last chance to try to make it a potential touchdown and 2-point conversion situation with the Hail Mary, but they couldn't connect on the Hail Mary. So Jaden got picked off at the end of the game. And that's pretty much how that went. Commanders ain't doing nothing until they fix their defense. They need to spend the entire off. They need not offense. They need to spend the draft getting corners. They need corners. You got Marshawn Lattimore, but you need more. Fix this secondary. For the love of God, fix this secondary. Please draft some corners. Fix this secondary. They stink. Why did we not go for two? I don't know. That's something Dan Quinn would have to answer. Tucker not looking so bad now. I mean, Tucker hasn't been himself. Tucker's looking bad for his standards, so that's kind of why everybody's been on this case, because he's looking bad for his standards. I don't know. That guy probably just wanted a touchdown. I can't blame him. You can't blame him until it ends up costing them, because what if the Commanders would have got a touchdown on a Hail Mary and then the 2-point conversion, and then you go into overtime, and then the Commanders win? That type of decision could cost you. So it's not a good decision to make. Just go down and end the game. Yeah, Miami beats the Mavericks in overtime. That's cool. I was at the movie theaters. I didn't see the ending of the Cowboys. Yeah, it was just a crazy game. It was just a crazy game. But, it is what it is. At the end of the day, you move on. You've got Tennessee coming into Washington this week. So they'll be down there at Landover Field. Well, not Landover Field. At Landover, Maryland. Right up at Northwestern Stadium. God, I can't get used to that name. And you'll just have to bounce back. Hopefully they do bounce back and we are able to see something from them, because they need to bounce back. They absolutely need to bounce back. You lost 3 straight games. They can't afford to lose anymore. But anyway, guys, that's pretty much it for me. Just wanted to say my 2 cents. I just felt the need to speak this because I've been holding on to this anger since like 4 p.m. So I had to wait until I get home to speak on this. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me. Obviously, I'll see you guys tomorrow because we do have the Ravens-Chargers game in LA. Harbaugh versus Harbaugh, the Harbaugh Bowl. Let's see how this is going to go. Can't wait for the Ravens to frustrate me the same way the Commanders frustrated me today. So, it's to be expected. But, hopefully we win. I don't know. Hopefully we do win. Anyway, guys, I'll see you tomorrow. I'm very tired. Been a long day of work. I just want to rest, probably go to sleep, and get ready for the next day. So I will see you tomorrow. Monday Night Football. Ravens-Chargers. Be there for it. It's going to be a lot of chaos. Ravens looking to bounce back after a pitiful loss against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Let's see if they can bounce back, because they're 7-4 right now. If they drop to 7-5, concerns are going to start happening. Because, I talked about the Commanders situation in the NFC. The AFC is not that much better. Bills going to win their division. Chiefs going to win their division. Steelers right now have the lead. Texas take an L. They're 7-5, but they should be able to win the division. So in terms of playoff seedings, there's 3 teams you've got to look at. Actually, yeah, there's 3 teams you got to look at in terms of playoff seedings. The Chargers, the Broncos, and the Ravens right now. Until the Ravens can potentially overtake the Steelers, that's how it is. Ravens are 7-4, Chargers are 7-3, Broncos are 7-5. Those are your 3 playoff spots. However, Miami's 5-6. They've won their last 3 games. Tua's back. And if they can go on a run and finish 10-6, they have a shot at the playoffs. So we have to be on our toes. We don't want to end up losing our opportunity to make the postseason. I think they have a chance actually to go 11-6 if they win all their games, which I don't think they'll do, but they have a shot for it. Either way, Baltimore again also has to be on their toes, so they need to win this game, get to 8-4, and then prepare for Philadelphia next week. 2 more games, and then they can get their bye week, which they desperately need because a lot of guys are banged up. The bye week is desperately needed right now. But they got to get through Monday night. Then they got to get through the game next week on Sunday against the Eagles. And then they can go on their bye week and truly address this team. Hopefully they have a team meeting. But we'll talk about all of this tomorrow when we actually get to the game. With that being said, guys, that's all I got to speak on today. I will see you later. Be sure to stay safe and peace out.